lows and high frequencies, everybody. This definitely won't be a long video. You probably can hear my voice. How can I start? So, back in March, I felt the connection to reach out to my Reiki Master Teacher. He's also a spiritual mentor. I connected with him back in, I believe it may have been 2015 or 2016. I believe it's 2016. And then he took me through Reiki 1, 2, and 3. He introduced me to sound bowls. I was new on my spiritual walk, probably like a year in, and I hosted an ecstatic dance event here in Memphis with another co-creator. And he showed up. And when I saw him, he was just dripped in crystals. He had these big crystals on him, and I was just drawn to him. I was like, oh my God, who is this man? And he was an elderly man. At that time, he was probably like in his mid-60s. And I was like, who is this? So I ended up connecting with him. He took me through Reiki 1, 2, and 3. Just taught me about feeling the energy around, and he just made me aware of the present moment. When I was first going through my initiation in this spiritual journey. In March of this year, I used to talk to him like every month, at least twice a month. He moved to Mexico. He wanted to move to Mexico in like end of 2018. He just wanted to be at the water. He wanted to move to Mexico. He moved to Mexico. That's where his spirit called him to be. So he left Memphis. He moved to Mexico. So he was elderly, his 70s. And so we would connect via WhatsApp. And he was basically sharing with me. We would share every month. We would read books together. But one of the last things that he shared that we were reviewing together was Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now, along with the Patah tapes. I'm going to post both books on here. He found the Patah tapes, volume 1 and 2, at a thrift store years ago. He said when he first came into his enlightenment, back in like the 80s, and he kept them. He gave me one. Let me see if I can grab it really quick. He gave me one. He mailed it to me last year, August of last year, because I wasn't able to find it online anywhere. So if you can find it, kudos to you. Let me know, because I definitely want to get the other volume. But he had one volume, and I had the other. I believe this is volume 1 that I have, and he had volume 2, or another volume. And then he also told me to read it with The Power of Now. So we were going through that. Of course, I never got to finish, but I would share, and we were, connecting via WhatsApp and talking when we could, or video chatting when he could. And so in March, my spirit was just led to like, wow, I haven't heard from him since January. What's going on? I tried to call his phone. Somebody else had his number. And then it just dropped in my spirit that he had transitioned. So I reached out to a couple of other students that he had initiated into Reiki, and they hadn't heard from him either. So I was just like, okay, what's going on? I reached out to him on Facebook. I kind of felt it. I shared it with my significant other, and then I kind of was like, okay, just let it go. And then it hit me again this morning. Eckhart Tolle came on my Facebook, and I immediately thought about him. So I was like, okay, where is he? Let me do some research. So I went back through our WhatsApp, You know, I was getting ready to call the apartment complex. He was getting ready to move back to San Diego. And then I was like, oh, let me send a message out, as part of the community. And we have a group chat on Facebook with the Pulan Temple, Buddhist Taoist temple that we are both affiliated with. And then the temple master informed me that his cousin had shared with him that he had transitioned. And he said he wasn't sure of the timeline, but he did transition. And so I just found this out probably like an hour and a half ago or so. And so I shared with his other students that I know that probably like me that did not know either. And his family didn't know to reach out because they're not spiritual at all to have that connection to understand that he had students, he had people spiritually he was connected to outside of family that would care. But he was a light. And I just want to share with you all that, and as I've shared before, that everybody's not going to make it. Everybody's not going to go on to the new earth that we are creating as we are aligning ourselves with the divine energy, and we are transforming this realm in which we live in. That we are beings of light. We are beings of light. And knowing that we are beings of light, we understand that with other beings of light that have chosen a path not to continue on, that they are still working with us. Their physical form has chosen not to experience the physical aspect of moving into a transition in the form of a new earth. That wasn't in their contract to do it within that form that they were in. However, they are still working. They are still doing the work. They are still helping us in so many different ways, you all. In so many different ways. So I definitely wanted to share. I wanted to share him with you all. I wanted you all to know more about who he is and what he was to me, especially because a lot of people, you know, we have spiritual teachers, we have spiritual master teachers, and a lot of people, even though they're not family, they mean a lot. They hold a lot of weight in our lives. They help us level up to our highest self. And even though he wasn't a blood relative, I feel like he was definitely one of my spiritual fathers in this realm for me. And even through his transitioning, it makes me want to even do more with Reiki. Sorry, I had to get over it. It makes me want to do more with my Reiki. You know, it makes me want to even delve deeper into my Reiki and meditation, because I know that was something that he really was into. And so even just to pay homage to my spiritual mentor and spiritual father who introduced me to these various modalities and these spiritual tools of sound bowls. He was the first person that introduced me to sound bowl healing. He was the first person that introduced me to Reiki and, you know, to being a Reiki practitioner. He was the first person to introduce me to a lot of different things about just the present moment and how deeply he connected with that and his spiritual experiences. He was so open to it. And so I reverence and honor my elders. I have a lot of elders that I connect with from the holistic perspective, naturopathic doctors, herbalists who are elders in their 70s in the community that have been mentoring me for years, and I hold them to a high regard. They hold so much space and love in my heart because of their awareness and their connection to me, and that they were dropped in during a time to help me and to help us elevate and to share what they've learned previously with me, so I can be able to share and be an elder to the next generation. We are passing the baton. So thankful and grateful for Jamal Dean. That was my spiritual mentor. The light that he shared, the love that he shared, the information that we kind of like shared with each other was always magical. And I just want to uplift him on today, uplift his energy, uplift his spirit, and let you all know. Yeah, and even just this week, I've heard a lot last week and even up to last night, this morning. A lot of people have family members that and friends who are transitioning, so we're going through another one of those periods. So be strong, understand the why, understand your why, and as my teacher would always say, my mentor, my friend, always be in the present moment. Everything is the present moment. Everything is now. And if you can read those books, if you can get hold of those books. And as always, I leave you in peace and higher frequencies, everybody.